Introduction to AZMAT System tutorial. In the last tutorial, we just looked at the calculating the rates files, which all these rates files have to be calculated every day before they can be used. And if you don't do that, it will actually, AZMAT System will give you a warning message that the file has not been calculated. For example, let's show you here. I'm going to open a particular curve, for example, open curve per view. Last time I had used zrgbp.xlsx file, so it prompts me with that one. I'll put in, for example, JPY, Japanese yen file, opening for view. Now, it has opened the file, zrjpy.xlsx, and it says, please note that the rates file, zrjpy.xlsx manual, because the rates files are both live and manual, they are two different. So it's just, that's why they in bracket it says manual. So zrjpy.xlsx manual file needs to be edited today before it can be used in any calculations in AZMAT System. This is very important. If you don't edit a file, you cannot use it basically. So this is to stop the users forgetting to edit and using incorrect information, previous days information, previous days, weeks, or whatever. So this check, it always will show you whenever, even if you are looking at it, it's just showing you that it's not been edited today. Now notice that the last here, I don't know whether you can see the time. Time is at present is 4th of July 2017, 23:53. Now we had calculated both the GBP and the US dollar curve files on the 4th of July. So as soon as it goes past midnight, those two files we will not be able to use it, but without editing them first. But we have another 6 minutes more in which we can use those files. So let's first close this particular file. It is open as read-only anyway. I'm going to close this one and open, not particularly, no need to actually even open. It doesn't really, I don't actually have to close it as such. I can, so if I see here, the fact that I have this, this is my user file, aa.xls, that's my user ID AA. So I had the last time I had opened was the US dollar. Now it's opened the JPY curve as well. So let's just close this and that. So I'll have no curve files open, but I just want to show you that we could use this US dollar and the GBP before midnight, before the date changes, without changing anything, but even immediately 1 minute past midnight, we will not be able to. So let's just close these two. So I'm going to go back here, curve file. You always try to use open curve, close, current curve. Yes, I do want to close it. Just always ask the question, do you really want to close it? Yes, because you may have used it by mistake. So it's now, if you look at it here, it is closed, the JPY. Now I've got the US dollar curve here open. If I go there, you can see this is also open in read-only mode. I can just go and close it. So I can say, right, go and close the curve, current curve. I can also use that. Also, it has no meaning because it is open in read-only. So, so it will not even be able to change anything anywhere. So, because I specifically said to not tell me without even giving me message box is closed. Okay, now we have here, as you can see here, it's only one file open. Right, time is now 23:56. So I have 4 minutes in which I can use the GBP and the US dollar curves, which were edited today on the 4th of July, 2017. So I can now, without actually editing it, but immediately after midnight, as we change, the date changes here in the UK from 4th of July to 5th of July, then it will give me a message saying you can't use it or so. Let's see. So I've got here control, I've used the control V, Y. Let's say I go and enter here just the control Y. Okay, so control Y, just the yield I want it. So 3 points yield will be exactly the same for that as the last 3.79269, 3.79269, 498, because basically it's just putting in as many decimal places as I want in this particular column width will allow me to. Now, if I didn't want that, I could actually use, let's see what else I can do with that. I'm going to say here, internal rate of return. Right? So I'm using that here. Internal rate of return is, you'll see that, just let's see, show you that. When the present value is 0, the internal rate of return, you will get to know these specific specialist investment banking terms later on as you go through future tutorials. But here it might help you here. You can see yield percent is yield is the internal rate of return is actually the yield, if you like, when the PV is the present value is 0. So it has the system itself enters the present value to make sure you know what we are talking about. So enters the PV, present value is 0, then the yield will be this, and this was very different as you can see here. It was 3.7926, so on, when the present value was 1324 something there. Okay, let's go back to the, if I want to go back to the original one, I can say, so this is the internal rate of return is when present value is 0. I'm 2359, might just be able to, let's go and see X value, present value and yield. Brilliant. Just about, it's 2359. So I could just calculate as soon as now going past midnight, it will not allow me to use this. I'm going to just wait a couple of minutes for it to change, or what I can do there is change to midnight now. Date change here. Don't know whether you can see the date is changed to 5th of July now. 5th of July 2017. So now if I try to use the same curve, GBP or the US dollar, it should not allow me to use it because it has not been edited today, 5th of July. If I save this file here, you will see the date will show a different one. So I go here and I say, right, in the utility menu, for example, I can say save data file. Right, let me just show you again the actual date. Oops. 4th of July, 11:44 p.m. I want to change, so I want to save it. Save the AZMAT data file, 5th of July, 12:01 a.m. So we just passed midnight on 4th of July. So now we are on 5th of July, 1 minute past midnight of 4th. So if I want to use same curve, this or the US dollar, which I edited on the 4th of July, it should not actually do that, any of these. It should actually tell me that the curve has not been edited. Let's see what happens. I can use here, for example, right? Let's use here, Control B. See, it's telling me AZMAT system needs to get, now it's a warning message. Notice it's not an I for information message, it's actually warning me. AZMAT system needs to carry out various checks and calculations on a daily basis before any live or manual rates file can be used. Either zrgpp.xlsx manual has not been edited today, or certain files have been deleted, though not by AZMAT system. Okay, so there are certain files AZMAT system uses, which if you delete those, then again you'll have to edit that file again before you can use it. Edit the currency file, the rates file, ZRGBP or ZR US dollar or whatever. So you should not delete any of those AZMAT system files which it uses. So for example, AZMAT system uses in zrgbp.xlsx in this case, the file, the rates file name is. So it uses V before the Z, right? It will be V zrgbp.xlsx or X or W or Y. Though all those special files it uses, don't delete any of those. They are covered in another session as to where they are. But for now, I will actually go through very quickly to show you where they are as well, in case, so that you don't have to see another tutorial just to see that. So what is saying to the user messages, needs to carry out various checks and calculations on a daily basis. So this can be used either this file, zrgb.xlsx, has not been edited today, or certain files have been deleted, but not by AZMAT system, means someone else has deleted. Okay, so then please either cancel this command and edit rates file that manual, or use a different file. Press OK to enter another file name and or directory or folder, because file could be somewhere else. Your own file, rates file, for example, you might have it stored in some other directory, or press cancel to cancel the command. So let's, for this point, this particular point, because we need to actually, we need to edit that before we can use it. So let's cancel this command altogether, and then I'll show you where. So you chose to cancel this command, click OK to return to the input box, click cancel this command, or to cancel it completely. See, so at every stage, just in case you may have made a mistake, AZMAT system will prompt you helpful messages to go back to the level where you were, to the command. So let's cancel it. Yes, I definitely want to cancel this command. Cancel. Now it's canceled it. So it's up to me now to open this file and edit it. But I'll just show you when it said certain files in that message, if you remember, it said either this has not been edited today, which is true because it has not been edited, or certain files have been deleted. So I'll show you what those files are and which files it's talking about. So if you go in here, File, Open. Now you notice that the file, the directory or folder is F, because that's where I'm using this AZMAT system from, F:\AZMAT. And this has got AA.xls and AA.xlsx. This is the one file I've been using, 5th of July, 1 minute past midnight, I've saved it. So that's the file it has. But all these files, notice they all begin with AA. So they're all by the user AA. first two letters are same. So cancel. I'll cancel this particular one right now. So this is not the directory or folder I want to see where the actual zrgbp.xls file is stored. I could manually go and change it in here to find where it is, but let the AZMAT system change it very quickly for me. Simple. So let's cancel this. I'm not opening anything. The user directory. So if I go in here again, add-ins. Remember, all AZMAT system commands are under add-in menu. So click add-in, and in the utility menu here, or under the K menu. So if I just show you in the K menu here, K menu, we actually do not, we have a certain, I can change it to AZMAT program directory. One file, because one directory, one command is there, because that is the one most likely. All the rates files, the curves, curve or rates files are stored under the ZR ones, AZMAT program directory, right? So that's why in this rates file, I'm giving only that one command. But if I go and look at in the utility menu view, because utility menu, again, I have the same command, change to AZMAT program directory, but I also can change to the user's own directory, which is the one we just looked at, AA, all these the files with the current directory. That's where it is. That's what the user's own directory, and all files began with AA. That's because the current user, that's me, initials AA. So if I say file open, you'll see file open. That's where that user directory is. F, that's the driver I'm using it for, and the AZMAT. So I want to change it to the program directory. So now I could have used this change to AZMAT program directory from here or from the K menu we saw earlier on. But the utility menu also have others. You can change to user's own directory, to the program directories, query files directory, bond database file, or change to volume or volatility or correlation files directory. So they're all 5 different directories. So let's change the program directory here. So now we are change the program directory. Now if I go and say file open, you'll notice that we are in the Kingston F Excel 2010, then AZMAT. So this AZMAT folder or directory is under the Excel 2010 folder, not from F directly, right? Okay, and there the files are different. There are no files here, not all together. There are some files here, user files, but the majority of those files are user's own directories or folder is F:\AZMAT, not this one. This is the AZMAT system program directory. That's where the AZMAT system program file is, main program file, and all the other many other program files. Just quickly have a look at it. All these are AZMAT system files it needs. So there are about 100 files in here. So the one we want to actually see, the ZR GBP, let's see before we do any changes. So if we look at this here, I want to show both here. ZRGBP.xlsx was updated, actually edited on 4th of July 23:19 hours. Whereas the ZRUSD was 4th of July 23:01 hours. Okay. And the JPY was very early, 3:36 a.m. on the 4th of July, so on. So this both here, US dollar, GBP, and and let me just see. These two we just changed, but the other two, the JPY and the XCU, were changed earlier on in that day. But all of them, you can see that change. They were changed on the 4th of July. They were not edited on 5th. The time has just changed to 5th of July. It's just about 11 minutes past midnight. So it's 00.11. So I need to change the file. But while we are here, let's have a look at the other files which it uses, the system uses. So in order to look at it, I need to go through here. So I'm here, Kingston F, XL 2010, AZMAT, and subdirectory. In here, if I look at it, say AZMAT back, these are the different, I'll go through as it's been explained in another tutorial, but it puts the date when the file was, when you started AZMAT System. So I had it started here, 2017, July the 4th. That's when I started. So it's created that folder or directory under AZMAT back, and various other files will be stored there. AZMAT MSC folder has got risk management files. We'll go through those later on. I want to show you this one. AZMAT sub is the one which uses where various rates files which are created by AZMAT System and is stored. So here we have zrgbp.xlsx with a V to begin with, and there's another V for the ZR US dollar as well. Then there's a W as well, WZRUS. They're all different files, different system files AZMAT System uses. So there are 4 files. So beginning with V, W, X, and Y. See, only the first letter is different. So ZRGBP there, the whole lot same, except the first letter is Y, X, W, and V. Similar thing for the for US dollar as well. There's a V there, W, X, and Y. I have to scroll down further. There, Y, all on 4th of July. So AZMAT System uses similarly for the XCU as well, and JPY. So AZMAT System uses these files, creates and uses these files. They are very special. You don't go around deleting any of these files within the AZMAT subdirectory, right? AZMAT sub folder, which is below AZMAT folder, where all the program files are stored. So it's very important. And this file, if this folder or directory did not exist, AZMAT System will not run, period. It simply will not run. If any of these files you go and delete, you have to edit that file, the rates file, not the one beginning with V, W, X, or Y, but that one ZR, GBP, or whatever, that particular curve you have to edit before you can use that file that day. So I would advise you to leave those alone. We will go through all these, each and every of these files, see what they are in future tutorials. So that's just to show you what they are, where they were. You see, if you remember, the message was either that file zrgbp.xlsx has not been edited today, or one of the system files it is using, or someone has deleted one of these other files. So if you delete any of these 4 files, AZMAT System will not use that particular rates file or curve file until you have edited it again. Okay, cancel that. So I didn't want to open it, I just wanted to show you what it meant there. It is fairly, very comprehensive system, as you will learn by watching these tutorials. So first thing we need to do now is, as we are on the 5th of July, the date has changed. It's 5th of July now. None of the rates files I have edited today, so I need to edit them today before I can use them. Let's go and we go and change. Let's go and edit instead of we'll edit the one of the other files. Now, before I do that, let me just do something here to show the difference. So you'll see that. Let's go into utility menu, and I will change here. Let's get it to say extra screen messages on and off, or display results on and off. Actually, if I change the display results on and off, it will not show. At the moment, you might have noticed that when I calculated those, the results were simply displayed there. They were not shown in any dialog box up here somewhere, a message box rather. So by changing that, the displays are on and off, I can do that. It will show me there or not. So at the moment it's turned off, but I can change it to turn back to on by simply using that command. Click that command. I can also say use control keys to place results on and off. So I can use the control keys, for instance, like Control V or B we had used, or Y to put the results, or you can turn it off. So you do not use it, only the results will be displayed here only, if you want it. And there are many other things you can do here. Check if any cash flow or discount factor. CF is cash flow, DF is discount factor. Whether any of these dates, the ones I'm using, is before today, on or off. Again, you can turn this on or off. So let's say we want to screen update on or off. So screen, as it carries out any commands, whether it should show while it's carrying out that command. Let's turn it on, because at present, obviously, it is off because everything was done. Lots of things were being done behind the scenes, but you didn't really see it. So let's say turn the screen update on. It will be on because you'll see it'll give me a message to say so, because at present it was off. Right, click OK to turn on all screen updates, or click cancel to turn on screen updates of only cash flow or discount factor dates, etc. Right, so because in this this message, I could only use either OK or cancel command. So I'm using this not to cancel the command, because the command is very simple, just so they're going through there and click that. So I'm using if you click OK, it'll turn on all screen updates. Or if I click cancel, it'll turn on only the screen updates of any cash flow or discount factor dates, etc., like the dates when we go around doing something. There are times when you don't want to see too many, but you do want to see the actual dates. So let's say in this case, we'll keep it simple. Let's turn on all screen updates. Okay. As from now, AZMAT System will display on screen all commands as they are carried out. Use this command again to turn off this feature, right? So if you don't want to see that, use that command again, and it'll turn it off because it's on or off. So OK, I'll click OK. Right. So if I go here, so if I want to turn it off, remember the screen update, I'll have to click it again to turn it off. Right now, it is on because I just used it to turn it on. Right. So now, so to get it to disappear, that you can use, click it somewhere here, you click that again. Right. So this time, let's go and say, let's use this, see what happens. I want to change the open curve of file edit. Okay, so I want to change it. This time we'll say JPY. I can move this curve, actually, this message. If I put it here, wherever you move it, it doesn't have to be wherever it was. Okay, zrjpy.xlsx is giving me that file name because that was the last file I had opened. Now, okay, let's click OK. That's fine. So while it's doing, you might notice the screen is changing. See VZRJPY you saw for a moment. Now we've gone to the ZRJPY. Now this message is open rates file ZRJPY for a full edit session. Full edit session as opposed to the rates edit session. If I had to use the rates edit command, I would only be able to change anything only in the yellow area. Whereas full edits, I can change anything, not just futures, this, that, wherever, formula as well if I wanted to. Please note that changes to this file will not take effect unless an AZMAT system command is used at the end of editing. Okay, right. So I have to use one of the AZMAT system commands at the end. If I simply use file save after making changes, they will not be recognized or accepted by AZMAT system. Right. In here, I want to change the future dates. I'll select this here. And so I'll say, right, as go in the K menu, updates to future dates. So I've already selected the area. So it's come up with that area already selected. I'll say it's fine. Yeah, okay, go ahead, change these future dates. Note that all these dates, they are 08, 09, and so on. Okay, the top one will be 07, obviously, but so it's done now. September 17th, 6th July 07, and so on. And now this file, JPY, is ready to be used. Remember, last time this was saved on the 4th of July at 3:35 a.m. according to this. So I need to, if I want to, it's done that. It's all I've done at this point. I have not, the computer system, the AZMAT system has actually saved the file because it told me at the message that saved. But last time when it was saved, who it was saved by is here. It was saved by AA, that's me, I had used it on the 4th of July. Because this is important. AZMAT system keeps a record of which user, because if there are dozens or hundreds of users in an investment bank using a particular rates file, AZMAT system keeps a record of who saved it last in here. There's also a whole history of the history of that, of who saved before that, and so on. We'll go into that later on. But if I want now, let's save this particular file. When I, at this particular point, it simply changed the curve, sorry, the futures, right? Note that in here, we have only 8 futures in Japanese yen curve. And the settlement in 2 days. They are different, they could be different. And GPY is different, for example, And the future contract size is here shown, so on. Let's just go and change. We'll go all the other things later. Let's just, for now, I want to save this curve and close it. Save curve changes. Right? Click OK to keep any changes made to that, or click cancel. Again, the same thing. Give me an option whether I really want to save it or I want to cancel it. If I want to cancel it. But I want to save it, obviously. So this date will be different when we open it. You'll see that. Instead of 4th of July, it'll become 5th of July, and it'll be about 12:26 or so. See, while you notice lots of things it's doing, and you can see all these intermediate things happening. You may have noticed that the date had also changed on there, but we'll go and open it and look at it again. So it says that the RGB manual has been completed the calculation and been saved. So if I open that now, open the curve for view, the name will be the same automatically because that's the last I've used. Okay, this time only opening for view. Note that the date has changed, 5th of July, 12:27 p.m. It's right now 12:27 p.m. We have just on 5th of July. We've just saved it and saved by AA. The date here is done these calculations, maturity dates are all calculated. Now they are 2017, 18, and so on. I scroll down, you can see all this spot, cash, futures, swaps going up to 30 years, so on. We'll go through all these, what they are later on in a separate session. Right now, I'm going to concentrate on calculating, on the actual calculation rates environment calculations results for example. So JPY has been calculated, so I can use this in the calculations today. Let's go and change these. We can close this curve. Let's close it. I'll close this one and reopen another curve. So as you say, right, close it because it was read only, so it doesn't need to. So saved it and opened it now as read only because I asked you. Remember, this time I had asked, because you may remember earlier on, not in this session, I had opened it for edit. If at that edit session I said close and reopen, it would give me the option to first save it. But this time, because I had, if I may, for whatever reason, I want to see the latest version because I had opened it as read only. Another user within the investment bank, another dealer, may have he or she might have opened it for edit and might have made some changes to either the file structure or the actual rates of prices. So I wanted to see the very latest. And so the very latest is the same because I'm the only one who had opened it. In this particular case, I'm the only user. But so that command is not there. It's not a mistake that that command exists. Close and reopen. So even though you opened a view only, if there were other users who may have changed it, if you opened it read only means other people would have been able to open it for rates edit, in which case change the prices, rates, or file edit, whole thing, anything else on the file, anything including rates could be changed. So that's why that command is there. I'll just close it now, that particular curve. click OK to close or cancel to close, cancel. At any time if I press by mistake, I cancel the command. But in this case, I do want to close it. So I say, right, close the current curve. Because I didn't say close and without saving any changes, it's asking me that way. If I didn't want to have this dialog box, I'll just show you. You say use close current file, do not save changes, in which case it will not ask me any dialog, just simply close it. Finish, done. And you notice the only file open is the user data file. I can use now JPY in calculations. So let's do the same calculation we did, although because the date is different, the values may be different because of that as well. Date now is 5th of July, one day more. But let's just change, see what happens, because I asked for the extra screen messages. Remember, we had changed in the utility menu, said right, display, screen update is on right now. So if I click that, goes there. Okay. So if I change this to JPY, okay, I want the results placed here, for example. Both Control B for Bravo, right? So for both, I want the present value and the yield using the cash flow date 1, because I have got here 1 there. I'm asking it to place the results there. I could also use actually, let's just do this first. So Control B. And this time, again, because it's not just place the results, but show the screen on the screen as whatever it's doing, opening various files or whatever. Let's see what happens. So if I press Control B, it'll place the results in my current 2 cells for both present value and yield. And they will be different to what we have here because I'm using a different currency. So it's 1324, 131, or 3.79269. So Control B. See, it's completely different, not 3.729, it's 2.54. Instead of 1324 something, it's 1342,702. Because the different currency, completely different, the present value and yield, using the same cash flow area, cash flow date 1, okay, is there. Right, now, and you might have noticed some other intermediate files as well, because I have chosen to see the all the screen messages, the screen update on. Okay, let's now see what else I can add in here. Instead of not just that, in there, let's say use control keys to place results or display results. Let's use the display results on or off. So at present, the display result is off because if I had the display results on, then you'll also see it in a dialog box, that particular command. Let's have a quick look at that. So I'll turn this command on. As from now, AZMAT System will display on screen results of calculation whenever valuation command for PV, present value, yield, internal rate of return, IRR, and duration is used from the X menu. So from the X menu, if I used any of these 4 PV, yield, IRR, or duration command, it will show me on the screen. results of calculation, right? Let's see. So I say for the same JPY, let's keep the same. And I'll say, right, in the X menu, from X menu there. And I say, right, present value and yield. Show me. Remember, present value and yield is here, this one. So I'll say, right, present value and yield. There, present value is 1342703, which was there, 1342702.84. So it's rounded it up to the nearest, to an integer, basically. And the yield is 2.545, 2.5448, and so on. So it's again rounded up to 3 decimal places. See the sum here. Okay. Let's show you an example of what actually happens with this. Because there, so it's on the screen messages is on. So I have it there. Now, let's change the currency, but before I change, I have to update that particular file, rates file. I have not updated. Remember, if I change it to GBP, should tell me that I haven't updated because I don't remember actually having updated that file yet. In the 5th of July, I had updated on 4th of July, previous day, but not 5th of July. So if I use the command, let's use the same one of the present value and yield, let's say, for GPY, remember for GBP, not for JPY. Those two values refer to the Japanese yen rates file. I want now GBP, British pound. So present value and yield. See, AZMAT System needs to carry out various checks and calculations on a daily basis before any live or manual rates file can be used. Either ZRGBP.cell has not been edited today or certain files have been deleted. Remember, this time, the certain files it is referring to are the ones I showed you in the AZMAT subfolder, which all of them become, so you will cancel this command altogether. Shows to cancel, yes, cancel altogether. And the certain files, it means it doesn't particularly need the user to know, but you are not a typical end user. You could be developing the system yourself. So those files, that's why the cert, it just uses the word certain, doesn't tell them what they are. They are actually referring to V, ZRGBP.XL, V, W, X, and Y before the letter Z. Those 4 files is referring to. Okay, so first thing I can do before I can use, I have no choice, I have to edit this file. I don't need to edit at this time. Let's use C here, what happens. I don't need to actually edit the whole, I don't need to open it for the file edit. If I just want to open the rates edit, as long as I've edited file, either for rates or file edit, that file can be used that day. So let's edit, this time we'll open for rates edit. That means we can only change, we'll only change the yellow area. Now it's giving me JPY, because that was the last time file I had used for edit session. So I'll change it to GBP. GBP. There. ZR GBP.XLS. X. I could have simply entered just GBP instead of all that, but let's leave it there now and see. Remember, all these things, intermediate files, various intermediate files, creating, and now ZRGBP file is here. This is open, system is open, ZRGBP for a rates edit session. Again, giving you information I for information. Please note that changes file will not take effect unless an AZMAT system command is used at the end of editing. Right? You can keep reminding users that they have to use one of the AZMAT system command at the end of editing. Only then those changes will take effect. It will ignore if you simply make some changes and use file save as or save. It will not enter. Let's show you here. For example, I have here, let's see, I have 3 here. I change it to say 3 point, it was all 300. I'll change it to 3.009, say, for example, right? I'm changing it to from 3.000 to 3.009. And I'll now say file save as, or file save rather. I just use Excel save command. See file save. So Excel has obviously saved that particular file as 3.009, right? 3.009 instead of all 3.000 I had originally. Note that I can't, as I'd opened the file for rate setting, I can change anywhere the cursor will go into the yellow box, but not anywhere outside. It will not allow me to change. I can go here, any of these, I can change these. Right, yellow, any of the yellow areas. This is what the extent of the race edit command. That's how far I can change. I cannot change anywhere beyond that. It's physically not possible because the cursor will not go anywhere. Right, I have saved, I use the Excel command 3. And I saved the file as 3. After changing that. Let's say I changed it and I it's okay, and I say if I use save curve changes, then it will save it here. The fact that I saved in Excel does not matter, irrelevant. But in order to see that it will not use that, so if I say, right, close current file, do not save changes. Okay. Remember I had used that 3.009. I had changed that, made one change. So I'm going to use within AZMAT system. I'm saying do not save any changes. Right? Okay, to keep any changes you made, or click cancel to cancel the entire edit session and restore ZRGBP to its original condition, i.e., as it was before the original edit command. So that means before I change this, instead of 3.009, it was 3.000. So it will restore the file to that condition, even though in Excel, I use the Excel command file save to save in this with this value. Okay, so click cancel to cancel entirely. Right, cancel. There. You'll notice that that file has been restored to the original condition. We'll have a look at it more. If I open that curve for view, ZRGBP, again, it's giving me this message because I still have not actually saved this file using any AZMAT system command. I used it to save. I used the Excel file save command to save. AZMAT system does not recognize it. It has to be one of the AZMAT system commands, in which case, then it will know that this file has been edited today. and it's ignored and we restore the file as it was. So if you see that back to what it was, 3.000, even though I changed this self value to 3.009 and used an Excel file save command, but the system itself, AZMAT system, restored to its original condition. And now we opened as read-only, but giving me this message that it needs to be edited today before it can be used in any calculations. Okay, so I have to edit it before I can use it. If I try to use it, again, it will give me the same message. So if I go back here, try to use one of these, any of these commands, it'll tell me that I can't actually use it. Right, let's say anything, present value, yield, present value. See, needs to carry out so the carriers on a daily basis before you can use it. So I have to, I'll cancel this command altogether. Command that is the present value command, the one I just used. Cancel this command. And now open that in edit to edit it, race edit. So let's have a look at it in here. I have got it open, but only as read only. So that's no good. I can't make any changes. So if I even try to change, it won't do it, won't let me do it. So I'll go and close it and open it in edit mode. Right? So I can read write mode, so I can make changes. So I'll first close it. Close current file, do not save changes. So I don't want to be bothered with asking me a message, do I really want to close it? Because I know, yes, I want to close it, do not save any changes, close it, finished. So if I see that, it's not open. Only AA.xlsx is open. This is the current file. So let's go and open it, curve menu, and this time I want to use, I don't need to use the file edit because I've already done the futures changes. I just want to open it for race edit. ZRGBP, open it, and you see all these other intermediate files being used here. We see that ZR, and other things. The screen is changing because we have used that particular function. We said we want to see all the screen changes. So now AZMAT system has opened race file zrgbb.xlsx for a rates edit session. Same message that changes will not take effect unless an AZMAT system command is used at the end of editing. Okay. So remember, this is back to what it was before I had opened it. So this time I can go here and change anywhere in the yellow area, not outside, because I opened it for race edit session, not a full edit session. So this was, I can change here race, or I just won't bother. I can change any of these if I want to, but because these values are specific here, very special ones, I don't want to be bothered with that, but I can change it if I want to, and it will use it. Okay, just to show you that I mean what it means, that it will use it. Let's change it this time. I'll change it to, instead of changing to 3.000, 3.00, let's say 3.004. Right? Last time I'd used 3.09, I'll change it 3.004 and return. It's already moved to the next one because that's how I use that in Excel, that it should move, because that's what you would automatically be doing. So, right, let's now, so remember, we have changed it to 3.004. Actually, what I want to do is I want to save it, the session, and then open in view only to see that, to show you that it will keep this time if I use AZMAT System command, and then I'll change it back to the old zeros, 3.000. Okay, let's go and use the K save curve changes. Note that 3.004. That's the only change I made. Yes, I want to okay to keep any changes. Cancel the command. No, I don't want to cancel the entire session. I want to keep this. Click OK. Note that it's doing these calculations as well. These dates change in case I've changed any other thing, all the other values, whatever. Doing various things. Completed, and it has been saved. So I should be able to use that file now, GBP. But I want to change it. I will just show you that it has this time kept the 3.004 open curve for view. Let's have a look at it. There, 3.004. Because this time I used AZMAT System command. AZMAT System command, add in, save curve changes. That's why it has realized that I have actually made whatever changes I've made is basically saving my changes. I did not use this time just file save Excel command. If I use any of the Excel save command, whatever, no matter what change I made, AZMAT System will simply ignore that and restore the file back to what it was before you opened it for edit, unless you use an Excel rates or file edit command. So let's put this one back to the 3.000 by, at this point it's open in read only because I just wanted to show you that it has kept the changes. Let's change it back to the zeros. So I have to open it as rate settings. I could open file edit as well, but there's no point opening file edit because I'm not changing anything outside the rates area. I just want to change the rates area. So ZIGPP, yes. Open that for remember to look at that 3.004. Right, it's opened that for a rate settings session, and this was read only. Remember, it's gone. It's now closed that and opened it for an edit session in the rates area. I can't go and change anywhere here, but I can change anywhere here. All the yellow area there, plus all the way up to here. Any of these rates or the spread. A spread is a bit of a spread. It's the difference between your bid and offer, what it should be. This is what you are specifying it to be. So 96.630, 96.62. So the spread is minus 0.01. Remember, it's less. And so on. In this case, it's positive. For example, here, 3.125, not 0.063. So if I add this here, so if you see here, you won't be able to see. I want to actually, I'll show you when I open it in file edit, then you'll see. You look at the actual formula of these two. Then it makes sense. No point just saying it. Right, let's put this one back to what it was. I can just change it to 3.000 or just 3. It will simply Excel. If you watch that here, see what happens. 3. Excel will not keep any old zeros, meaningless. 3 is 3.000. So it doesn't matter whether the 3 decimals are 10 or 20 or 100 decimals. 3 is 3. So it does not need that. So even if you put that, so it's just 3 is enough. So this was this as it is. I want to restore, not restore. I just wanted to use the same values that I had before. So I opened it on rates edit, not read only. Rate edit, I put it back there, and now I want to close. Cursor won't go anywhere outside the yellow. I don't want to make any other changes. Right, let's now go back there and save curve changes. Now, what we could also, right, no, let's continue with this. Okay, to keep changes. So you can see what it's doing, various other things it's doing. Right, it's done that, and the file has been saved. So now if I open it, you'll see it's back to keep the, because I use the AZMAT System command, it will use that. It'll keep the changes I've made, not Excel. So it's very important, use AZMAT System command for AZMAT System files. Right, so we've got it here. We've made some changes to this. Let's quickly go and do the same, do the edit for the US dollar file as well. Then we can use them for something else. Okay, so now let's now first, before I do that, let's close this one. Don't want to have too many files open. If I look at it here, you'll see I've got GBP, which is the current file, ZRGBP and the A. So I'll close this particular one. I can see in here in the utility menu, let's see. Close current file, do not save changes. Same command, instead of using from the K menu, I could use that as well because this is open only in read-only mode. Let's show you. Read-only mode. So because it's read-only mode, I can use here as well. I don't have to go to the X menu, K menu. So close current file, do not save changes. Right, done. If you look at it here, Windows only got one file open and unhidden, not hidden, aa.xlsx. Okay, let's do the calculations on the I was going to do that before we actually do another curve. Let's do some calculations here because I want to see the results here. While so ZRGBP, and I'll use here, for example, right. I want to use the control B, so I want to see the present value and the yield. Remember, these calculate some of these years we'd use, and this one, for example, this is for Japanese yen. So for the, but using the same cash flow date one area. So now using for GBP, it will be completely different to those values. So it won't be 2.54. This is the easier one to remember to see if it's changed. So 134,2702. There it is, 134,2702.84 and 2.54. So I have here, these were the two last value right here for Japanese yen. Now for GBP, I want to see it there. Now, even though I've got that here, highlighted here, selected, does not matter. If I want to see the results here, see what happens. It should now add in X menu. Remember those values, 134,2702 42702, 1342702.84, 2.54483 are here as well. But this value here, watch out for that. Present value and yield. So I want both of those values changed or calculated for ZRGBP.XLSX curve, manual one. And I want the results displayed in a message box because that's what I have. I've already selected here on the in here just to show you. We have changed it to display results on off. So display results is on at the moment in the message box. Okay, so I go back here, X menu, and I want to calculate present value and yield. These values are already here, remember. So while it's doing here, so 1324252 yield is 3.794, very different to what you have here. If you move this one here, you can see that 1324252, 1324252 is rounded up to the integer, nearest integer, and 3.794 rounded up to 3 decimal places. So it's put the results there, plus it's displaying it in a message box on the screen as well. The reason for this is, and note that these two are very different to the Japanese yen curve values. Those were the values for Japanese yen curve or rates file, 1342702, as opposed to GBPY 1324251, so on. And the yield is completely different. For Japanese yen, it was 2.544. For GBP, British pound, the yield is 3.794, completely different. And note that it's actually when we have the results, display results on screen, it shows there, but also enters the values here as well. Now, the reason you might wonder, why do you want to actually display on the screen when you can see it here? Same thing. Let me show you the difference. Let's change the curve back to say JPY, which I had JPY there. So now we want the Japanese curve, the values, present value and the yield, using the same cash flow date one as GBP we had. These are the values for the British pound. We want the Japanese curve, JPY values calculated and displayed on the screen and entered here by the AZMAT system. So why you would use it, you might wonder. So let's show you here. First thing I'm going to do before that is, because you notice I haven't got any scroll bars. So first thing I'm going to do is to use the Excel Windows Arrange All command. Before I do that, let's have a quick look at here. I have only one file which is not hidden. So I can just use it, quickly arrange all without having to worry about Windows or Active Workbook, because that's the only workbook which is open and not hidden. So as soon as I click OK, I should be able to see the vertical and horizontal scroll bars. Okay, there. So I've got the horizontal scroll bar, I can scroll away, and I have got the vertical scroll bar as well. So I'm deliberately going to move away. So I can't see the there. So I might be here somewhere, anywhere on my spreadsheet, far away from the area. So I might be anywhere here, for example. So that's why. So I want to see the results shown here on the message without having to go back there. So add-ins, X menu, present value, and yield. See, present value and yield. Shown here, but also it's gone back to the original area as well, which is, this is very different to the British pound values, which we had here. If I go down here slightly, instead of 13427 or 2.544 yield, sorry, this is JPY. For the British pound, they were these 1324 and 3.79 was the yield. Okay, so let's change it to again GBP, and it should change to that. What I'm going to do right now is go and change that. Take this off. Display results on off. Now it will be off. AZMAT system will not display on screen. Result calculation. Okay, so I've turned that one off. I just want it straight here or in the cells I've got my cursor on. So if I place my cursor somewhere, so remember this is 2.54, this is the one easier to see the difference, remember. It's instead of 2.54 yield for GPY, it is more near 3.79. So if I go away, right, somewhere here, or there, or wherever, I'll have to, let's say there, Control B. There. So I have replaced my cursor here, 3.79 the yield, and 1324251. 1324251.636 and 3.79, which is here. There. 3.7938 and going on. So I say 3.79387, for example, rounded up to 0.79387. Okay, hopefully that explains the difference between some of these commands here. Let's open up this. What are the things I want to see? I'll take off the screen update on and off. So I just want to see the results quickly without intermediate things. So screen update is currently on. I'll turn it off. As from now, AZMAT system will not display on screen all commands as they are carried out. Use this command again to turn on. So you can turn it on again by using that. Because once you know what it's doing, you don't want to slow down the system. You just want to see the answer straight away as soon as possible. So by just using the actual cash flow dates without even specifying if I had, just show you what else actually happened. If I didn't put anything here, right, I'll just simply delete that. Clearly, nothing there. I haven't defined the cash flow. See what happens now. So if I use any of these commands, again, I could use the same control. Let's say I want to use here, for example, and I'll use just the present value, right? And let's change this. Let's delete it. In fact, so if I delete that, there. and maybe even the yield as well. Let's clear it completely. Right. I will put my cursor, say, here, and I want to see the result there. I haven't note that I haven't specified, so my cursor is here. If you can remember that, it's at the bottom of this yellow. I haven't specified any cash flow date area. So if I press Control V to calculate the present value without specifying which cash flow area to use, it should prompt me for the cash flow area. So Control V, I'm saying use the GBP, fine, that's okay. It knows which curve to use. Now it says cash flow area. Please click on the first date cell or highlight all the cash flow area with the cursor. Again, reminding me that I do not need to type in the actual reference. Click OK to proceed, or click Cancel to cancel the command. So I can just simply put my cursor on the top cell, or I can display, I can define the curve cash flow area by selecting the whole row. That's not, because I don't need to do that, I won't do that. Right, let me just simply press the, notice something is not right. I will change this particular date here, cash flow slightly, but so before to change that, I'm just going to cancel this first, this command. So to cancel this command, we'll cancel this command altogether. Change that to this is a Saturday. So let's say I'll ask this computer system, before I use that, I'll ask it to check dates. So this is a Saturday, should avoid that. Okay, so I won't keep it there, I'll keep it somewhere else, somewhere completely different. So I will say either, let's have a look at it here. In the utility menu, check dates for holidays, right? Now I haven't defined the actual curve, which cash flows to do that. So check dates for holidays, I'm saying, and so it means the cash flow area. So again, I can just highlight it to the first cell. It'll automatically should go through that, look through, and then it'll come here, it comes with a blank cell, then it will know that and should change this date. This is Saturday, it's not a valid date. AZMAT System will check to ensure that none of the days highlighted fall on a holiday. Replacing any days which do. Is this okay? Okay, proceed, please cancel this command. Because it's going to replace the actual dates, that's why it's asking you to confirm that command. Okay, click OK. There, change that Saturday, 31st of August 2019 to Monday, because that's the first working day. If Monday, 2nd September was a bank holiday, for example, then it will change it to the following next working day. And we'll go through in more detail later on this, how you can specify which days to avoid apart from just the holiday weekend. Okay, it's checked all the dates here. Right, now let's go and calculate this time. We don't want to be bothered too much we wanted to just go and calculate the, say, for example, here, and enter the result here. Right? Just do it. No. For example, after specifying the cache data area, just go and enter that. So Control V. So we'll specify the data in a minute. Control V, present value. There, top cell there. So even though I haven't defined I haven't said which cache flow date to use, we specified that top cell, row 4, column 4. Okay. And remember, I had my cell somewhere here, where to place the result. There. And it's obviously put in there as well. Always puts in there, plus if you're using control keys, it will use that. Okay. So even though you don't define you don't specify the cache flow date, if you don't specify, it will ask you for it. Similar thing for discount factor when we are calculating. Again, if you don't specify the discount factor results, it'll ask you where to put it and so on. We'll go through that at some other session now. Let's stop now and we'll continue later on. So before doing that, I'll just add this. I'll save this file. So save as my data file. So now I've saved it 5th of July, 1:17 a.m. Okay. Let's stop now. I'll leave this file here.